Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. I wanted to show you a tool today. I saw it on a video and I was very curious about it because I thought it would have some really good uses. This is not a sponsored video in any way, but this tool here from Fiskars is what I want to show you. Let me throw my glove down. All right, so right there, this is what it is. It's a multi-tool. It actually calls it the Multipurpose Planting Tool on the label right there. And what I thought was really cool was this tip. You see there how it's kind of pronged. And the idea is that that would be really great for weeding. Now I've tested it out. As you can see, it's dirty. Things don't stay clean around here for very long. But check out that blade right there. Okay, the bottom edge is serrated, so you could use it like a saw. The top edge is like a knife. The tip right there, you've got that pronged area, which would be good for getting down and cutting a taproot if you need to. And the interior, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but it's like a spade, so it's got a little bit of shovel capacity to it. Now I've taken this around the yard. I've focused on weeds mostly, not worrying about planting stuff because I'm pretty sure the spade aspect will work just fine. It digs really easily into the dirt, and well, just watch some of the video here. See here how well it works when you're trying to get rid of weeds in between pavers. It really doesn't take long to cut through stuff. Of course, a lot of this is easy enough to pull yourself if you want to, but if you're trying to get into it, you just kind of stick that end in there and you can pull things out real nice and easy. Look at all the taproot from that weed right there. That's just a wild geranium going on. But anyway, you can get through here very easily. You can use the knife blade if you want and kind of create a little bit of an edge in those pavers, and then just pull out the stuff that was there. And noticing this right now is that tip end. If you do it that way between the pavers, just coming straight down, it really kind of cuts right through those weeds very easily. And you can kind of rip out what's left and get all kinds of weeds out of there very quickly. So this looks like a very useful tool overall, but I will tell you, I tried the serrated edge and I didn't really like that. I think I'm better off just getting out a bow saw or a little hand saw or something like that. This doesn't do as well, so I would say if Fiskars is redesigning it, this part needs some looking at. The knife blade works really well for cutting stuff, and this tip part works really well for it. And it definitely is sharp, so it goes into the dirt very easily. So overall, I really like this. I'm probably not going to use this feature of it very much at all, unless it just happens to be a real small branch. Typically, you know, most of the branches I'm cutting, I'm going to use a pair of pruners for if they're small, just because that's so much more efficient. But right here, that knife blade is pretty cool. I love this part of it where I can get down and cut the taproots out. And the spade function, I think, could be very useful, especially if you're in there trying to divide something like hostas. So why don't we actually take it over to the hostas and give it a shot on that. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got a set of hostas. These are not the same ones I divided before, but if you look down here at the bottom, you can see there are 3 pieces that should be easily divisible. Now, one of my favorite ways of dividing hostas is to actually dig up the whole plant and separate it out into as many possible separations as I can, but in this case, I'm just trying to do it in the dirt. which is a good way to do it too. And because this is so sharp, I am just going to come through and I'm going to saw through, poking down, and then on the outside I'm going to loosen up the soil so I can get kind of a nice clump. And then I'm going to push down as far as I can and just kind of leverage it out a little. You can do this with a shovel if you want, but I wanted to test the tool and see how well it would do. I'm going to cut a little bit more right here because it feels like it's still attached. All right. Let's see how that does. So here we go. Got some good roots for that division right there. See where we cut through, a real nice sharp cut through that. I'm actually going to just pull this leaf off because that's going to die off anyway. And I'm going to put this in a pot and save it, and we'll transfer it over to our new house later. But that does a pretty good job at cutting through that piece of root and dividing this hosta. So my total opinion on this knife right here, okay? I really like this tip here because it really gets those tap roots down when you dig down into the ground. It's very strong, so you can pry things up pretty good. It does have a spade capacity to it because this is a little bit of concave right there, which actually, when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking if you were to use the rounded top up here as the top part when you pry things up, it's probably going to give you even more strength when you're trying to divide things or pry out some deep rooted weed that you just got to get rid of. But also, this knife blade, it's pretty good. It does cut through things of a small nature, so you can use it for a little bit of chop pruning type stuff, the weeds, and try to get through some things. That part, I'm not a big fan of. I'm probably not going to use that ever. I tested it on a branch. It was very slow moving. I can get a much better cut from my bow saw that I have, or just taking a pair of pruners out. If you notice there, that's kind of flat on the top, and I think you need something a little bit more pointed if you're going through wood. It would probably be fine if you're cutting through some live growth that's just really small diameter type things, but I'm probably not even going to worry about that. So overall, I do recommend this. It was $15 when I purchased it, and I think it's $15 well spent, to be honest. Anyway, I'll post a link in the description if you're interested in it, but this is Fiskars, and it works really well. So anyway, this was completely unsponsored. I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. If you found this interesting or informative, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Growing the Home Garden.